All right. Welcome to CMPRadio.net, the voice of Chester. Welcome to the wonderful world of Rich Blye, where once again we're here to do it again for you, all of my friends. We're about to kick this thing off, baby. I know it's been a rough week for some, getting ready, getting back, with Thanksgiving in order and, stamps getting cut back on and all of the shopping that we've seen out there from, the wrangling for a shopping cart and all that other good stuff. And, we'll talk a little bit about that unfortunate loss, and we'll hit some local things that's close to my heart in the wonderful world of Rich Blye with this program. All right. As usual, I always start off with scripture and prayer because I firmly believe that even though we live in the physical, that there are powers and principalities that most of you do not see. There are spirits that you do not have the understanding of. But by the grace of my Lord, I have command over those things, and I ask for those things in the name of Jesus. As a Christian, I manifest the Christ in me, and I bring that to the forefront with everything that I speak about as a man trying his best to live righteously. So, dear Lord, bless me and bless the city of Chester. Bless all of the inhabitants of Chester. Bless the mothers, the fathers, the uncles, the cousins, the big unks, the little unks, the daughters, the brothers, the nieces and nephews. Bless the animals and bless their local officials to do the right thing for the city of Chester. Lord, I am not perfect, and I thank you for dying on the cross for my sins. I thank you for the opportunity to live my life in a righteous fashion. I am flawed, but I know that I am redeemed and saved by your grace. And with that, you have empowered me to be a soldier in your name. And I'm blessed with that. Father, we pray for those who are in power to stop their wicked ways and come back to a sense of morality so that our children and our children's children can understand the land in which they live in. This land called America. This land called Chester. My prayers are for everyone else out in Delco, whatever township, municipality, and borough that you are in. My prayers are for your renewed strength, your renewed vigor, and at this holiday time that your sense of giving is resolute, that you're giving from your heart and your soul and not for photo ops and publicity. All these things I ask in the name of my Lord. Amen. All right, real quick. We've heard this prayer or this scripture many times in our days of vacation Bible school, Sunday school. Ephesians 4:32, and be ye kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God, for Christ's sake, hath forgiven you. Let that sit for a second. I know a lot of people have said it. It's actually a song when I was in camp growing up. Do-do-do-do. Ephesians 4:32. Be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, for even as God, Christ, has forgiven you. Do-do, do-do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do. That goes out to the spirit of Mr. Vernon C. Watford from Camp Triple C in South Carolina. Another one of my great mentors as men who taught me the love of Christ and the love of reading the scriptures and the love of fellowshipping as a man. So that's a song that he taught me. But let's get to the topic at hand, because I know some of you aren't here for the, prayers. I know some of you aren't here for the scripture. I get that. You're waiting for, what is he going to say next? What's going on now? Well, I have to say this, folks. I know something I won't tell, doo-dah. I know something I won't tell all the doo-dah day. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to talk about the failure of the democratic process. The failure. Now, if you're not on my page, if you haven't been on my page, you would understand, some would not understand, why am I going to talk about the failure of the democratic process? I did not say failure of Democrats. And I'm saying it slowly because there are people who don't understand spelling or definitions. It is not the failures of the Democrats. It is the failure of the democratic process. So if you're on my page and you go on my page and you see that there's a video from last Wednesday, Upper Darby Township Council. We had a second budget meeting hearing. And then right afterwards, we went right into a regular council meeting that started approximately around 7 o'clock. And there was a gentleman who I know. His name is Mike Law. Very nice man, reserved. He served this country, United States Army, family man, respected in his community. You know, I'm quite sure he's employed, quite sure he has a home, quite sure he has, you know, some of the same basic amenities that we have in life. But one thing that I do know about this man is that he has a sense of honor. He has a sense of family. He has a sense of commitment. He has a sense of truth. Now, isn't that what we expect out of everybody? See, I'm going to say this very gently. A lot of you folks try to misinterpret your meanings, mannerisms, your character, your personalities, and you walk around playing cloak and dagger with people who do certain things for a living. And you underestimate folks. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, because in Upper Darby Township, besides the elections, we had a person who resigned because they're going back home, family, running for election in, you know, Lancaster, whatever it is they're going to do. This person gave up her seat. Now, as per Upper Darby Township charter, the seat may and can be filled through an interview process of candidates who are eligible in that district to serve the needs of the constituency in that district. Apparently, there were people there with different backgrounds, people who look different. I don't know. I was there. I was a part of the interview process. But this gentleman, Mr. Mike Law, definitely was, part of the process. And if you go to my page and you look back, because, and again, folks, you have to make sure you check my page daily because I'm shadow banned through my profiles, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is why I call out the cowards for what they are and call it out. Because if I was anything else but a foundational Black American standing on truth, I wouldn't be going through none of this persecution that I go through. I wouldn't have to come all the way to Chester to get a free and clear voice on the airwaves to express my discontent with my local government. Why can't I stay in the place that I live and come all the way to Chester to get a free signal out to the people for them to understand what's going on in Upper Darby Township, because in Upper Darby Township, they are censoring me specifically, but they are definitely censoring a lot of other people. This habit is going on. It needs to be checked. So let's get into why, as black people, because I'm not talking to nobody else tonight, I'm dedicating my show primarily to black people. When I say black people, I don't mean African Americans. I mean black people. When I say black American, I mean exactly that. I know I'm going to scare some people. I know I'm going to piss some people off. Well, like I said, it says, welcome to the wonderful world of Rich Blye, where you get to live in my reality for a moment, where you get to deal with some of the things that I see on a day-to-day basis, and why I have to speak the way that I do weekly because of the foolishness and the recklessness that we see going on in our lives, that people want to take a blind eye to and play the oblivious. Oh, I didn't see that. You saw it. You don't care. I'm not here for some of my white friends today. I need you just to listen. I'm not here for some of my Asian friends today. I need you just to listen. I'm not here for some of my Polish friends, some of my Jewish friends, some of my Italian friends, any other group. I'm not talking to you today. I'm talking to my black people because I've had enough. We as a people in this land have created just about everything that the world uses. But we can't get out of our own way with this party loyalty versus our duty to ourselves and our country. You are so fixated on having leaders who know less than you. You are fixated on having people who can walk around and look like pimps and say some nice fancy word that comes in your direction that you got to go back and pick up a thesaurus for, because I'm sorry, you don't have a thesaurus inside of your head to be able to understand what that man is saying. That's not my fault. That ain't that man's fault or woman's fault. That's your fault. Because I'm going to get into the why. So in Upper Darby Township, we got party loyalty over doing what's right for the community. And it's completely evident in the way that this man, Mr. Myron McNeely, who sits on Upper Darby Township Council, who was appointed first and then won his election. Now, Mr. McNeely was part of the interview process, and I'm going to say part because the council president, Mr. Tunis, did, and watch this word, imply that he himself, Mr. Tunis, was there for the process, but didn't ask a certain line of questioning. So now, but I just want to establish that Mr. Tunis, President Tunis, was in the room. That goes without saying. Or if he wasn't in the room, he was aware, because if you go back and listen to everything in its entirety from the time when Mr. Mike Law spoke his name, I made sure to cover it from the time that he spoke his name all the way up to the point of order of Laura Wentz, counsel at large. And we're going to get into the second half of that on why she had to speak up on it. Because we have party loyalty. Party. Most of you can't identify with who you are. Most of you can't identify with who you are. You're trying to be somebody else so bad. And you can't identify with who you are. So you pick up this badge and you put it on yourself and you say, this is who I am. So are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? Or are you black? Which one is it? Because if you have party loyalty over living here in Chester, if you have party loyalty over being here in Chester, something's wrong with you. Party loyalty has got nobody nothing except for those that are in the party. Prove me wrong. Oh, by the way, I saw your ward leaders, for those that follow the young man with the journalism, Jameer, for those that follow Dakeem Williams. I'm going to light y'all up on the post when I see you. I'm going to go right back to, I'm going right back to those posts where I said to each and every one of you that's underneath the sound of these men's ears that I just put out there, no disrespect to them, I'm just letting them know how it's coming. You young people had questions about how the process works. You young people said, oh, we don't know who the people are. Y'all said it, Chester. You know what I said? I said, I can help you. I said, I can tell you. I said, I can show you. I said, as a matter of fact, they having a meeting right over here in Chester. And this was like, hold on, weeks in advance. Weeks. I scheduled it. Here's the funny thing. I was supposed to go to Washington, D.C. that day. I was supposed to go to the African American History Museum that day. And I chose to just give Upper Darby a deposit that I'll never get back so I could stay in Chester, so I could sit down and converse with who I thought was coming, because cmpradio.net was definitely in the building observing and taking notes, and, you know, and I was acting as an agent for my show, for the radio station, because we bring the journalism and we bring the news first here in Chester, so that way you can be informed. It's not a competition. But everybody's not going to these places that you guys have questions for. And I want to know, black people, are you afraid? Because if you're afraid, say so. If you're not afraid and you don't learn and you're not understanding, and I keep saying, I'm almost 60. What do you think I've been doing for the past 30 years? You want to know something about your public officials without getting the, or the, flashy watches, trying to bamboozle you with the thought, or the half double negatives that you get from a conversation of the list of accomplishments that was already set up. It's set up. There's no accomplishments. It's already set up. Watch. 10 years from now, when you get another person that go inside of the same position, they're going to have the same type of seasonal photo ops for you, and y'all going to clap for them. Those are set up. That's free game. They ain't doing nothing great. They're showing up to a preset event that they have to do every year. There are some must-dos that your public officials have to do. There are some mandatories, and then there's some optionals. And most optionals are what they feel like. So are you hold on, and I want people to understand something. This goes for black ones too, because I see some of you black Republicans. This criticism isn't about party. This is about your loyalty. And when I'm going to keep continuing to have these conversations of intellectual thought about your government processes that some of you don't understand, but want to question me or question the validity of where I get my source information. How about this? I'm in the fucking room. Excuse my French. But I'm in the room. And that's the difference between me and some of you black people. I don't know you. I know you don't like the way that it sounds. I come like a truck. When I get pissed off about this, I'm not questioning your blackness. I'm questioning your spirit of blackness, because this is not how we did it back in the day. You young people, you keep talking about, oh, I want to be like how powerful G-Mom. Speaking of which, hold on. Miss Viola Ford Fletcher, the 111-year-old Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre survivor, passed away today. Anybody say a prayer for this woman's soul and for the testimony that she has? Because she has a book series that says, don't let them forget my story. Y'all waiting for them to include her in the Black history and talking about Black history heroes? You waiting on that? Is she going to fade away at 111 years old, and you guys aren't going to remember that she was a living witness to the atrocities that was done in the name of governments? Oh, let's talk about who they were. So before y'all, oh, Tulsa, Oklahoma, before you start getting in your feels, you got to remember who perpetrated it. Same party, same white people. Okay? That's your racist whites. That's what they did. They did that. It happened. It happened. What are you doing about it to make sure that the legacy of this woman and the legacy of Black people in America have done? That's the problem we have, Black people. Your lack of participation. Your lack of seriousness when it comes to issues that affect you in your city. All week, all I keep seeing is people talk about the current sitting president. I'm tired of hearing his name. I'm tired of it. The current sitting president. Y'all more worried about what's going on with him. And I'm not saying you ain't supposed to worry about it, but you got more pressing issues right now in Chester and in this county and in this state before you could even worry about what's going on with the dude at, 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You got a lot more going on here in the streets of Chester that you really need to pay attention to. Really do. But I digress. Let me get back to Upper Darby real quick. So this guy, Marion McNeely, decided that as a person, he would basically ask, implied was his words, was the person in front of him a participating voting Democrat? Why is that important? Let me help you. Upper Darby Township Council Administrative Code subsection 735, and I quote, all council persons, the mayor, the chief administrative officer, all department heads, and the township treasurer, before commencing their commencing their official duties, shall affirm to a signed code of ethics. They have to sign off on this. This is important, Chester, because this applies to you because you're also under a home rule charter. You're under a home rule charter, Chester. That means the power is in your hands, Chester. Mayor is the humble servant. Council are the humble servants. But they have exalted themselves over you like gods because you guys don't understand ethics. And you know why? Because it's not happening in your homes. I know why. How you going to question something, as far as the honor or as far as the integrity of another person that ain't doing stuff, that's supposed to be doing stuff for you when you ain't doing it yourself? Is that a critique? It absolutely is. Is that a judgment? No, it is not. That's an observation. because people who want better do better, and people who want to participate show up. See, I'm not the type of person that involves myself with the nonprofits by putting powder on your butt and the diaper. I'm the guy, I'd rather be part of the setup. I'd rather be part of the breakdown. I'd rather be part of the advertisement for the event. And y'all can contact people, keep it moving. Because we love to get together for events. But when it's serious, like your real freedom, Myron McNeely. So he decided that his signed affirmation of such code of ethics didn't matter in asking Mr. Mike Law a question whether or not he voted consistently or he currently voted as a practicing, pretty much as a practicing Democrat. And then when asked about it, if you go and look at the video on my page, this is why you have to check the moral turpitude of people. And as we are slowly coming to the realization that black people can be racist because they are in positions of power, that black people have hatred against skin color because of some unperceived slight or something that happened so traumatic in their lives against, that was perpetrated by somebody else or a cop or, the number one is, the cops always beat black people up because, yes, that does happen. I'm not going to say it doesn't. I would be a fool to sit up here and go, oh, black people don't get beat by cops. I'm a black person that's been beat by a cop. Justified or not. It happens. What am I going to do about it? Keep crying about when I was 27 years old that this cop who's probably retired somewhere in Florida on his boat probably don't know me from nothing, and I'm still talking about from 1999 how I got beat by the police. Stupid. That's my opinion. That's holding on to trauma. On men's mental health Mondays. That's holding on to trauma. See, black people, we hold on to trauma. And it's in our politics now. Because the way he explained it was, we thought. Let me break this down to you and why this is important. His first statement was, we thought, or we believed, or we wanted to have somebody in that seat that was already a Democrat, so he felt as though that it was a fair line of questioning to ask him if he was a Democrat or not. That is discrimination. This is absolutely a case before the newly formed Delaware County Council Human Relations Commission. But again, because it's all Democrat, because that's what they want, they said so. Mr. Myron McNeely then doubled down and kept saying we 3 more times, which now implicates the whole council. Yes, Laura. Yes, Megan. Yes, Brian Andrusco. Yes, Tunis. Yes, Councilwoman Billups. Yes, David Banto. Yes, Mayor Ed Brown. Yes, President Hafiz Tunis. Who else am I forgetting? Councilwoman Blackwell. He spoke for all of you. He said we decided 4 times before he switched to I. And then once he switched to I, you can tell when a person is lying because they stutter. He sounded like a deacon sweating before the altar, knowing he got caught stealing the chicken. But this is what happens, folks, when you don't vet people. Listen, it's fine. Listen, we all know Upper Darby wants an all-Democrat council. That is not lost on us. We understand that everybody wants everything. This is what's comfortable. This is what's fine. So, but let me explain to you how this is so wrong. So now they don't have to tell you nothing because you already agreed to the regime, to the dictatorship. So what do they got to tell you? Nothing. There's no opposition. And in Upper Darby Township, they're not free with the information. Because I got a brother down there by the name of John DeMassey that's been kicking their tail for the past year and a half now with lawsuits representing a group of people. And then I got the mayor of Upper Darby Township, Ed Brown, talking about, oh, this little small band of resistance that just, they're persistent on making things, notoriously uncomfortable and nah, man. If anybody wants the real news, let me tell you what's happening in Upper Darby Township. Ever since Barbara and Keffer and Laura Wentz basically were fighting for equality and putting DEI efforts in place when they ran, they said that the makeup was old rich white men or old white fat white men that don't represent the makeup of a community. Now, you're about to have maybe one woman sitting, because it's all now all black men with the exception of 2 white boys. But make no mistake about it, those 2 white boys are just there for the agenda. The blacks are running their towns. Yes, they are. This is not no racist nothing. You can take it any way you want. I know for a fact how this thing goes down. You gotta figure what I'm talking about. You weren't in at the meeting. And as I told a gentleman that I was having a conversation with, Troy, I am not giving up my notes. I am not going to process what I've learned. I am not telling you guys what they said about you and how they think about you. I'm not telling you. You deserve what happens. You deserve it. And I'm going to tell you why you deserve it. Like a father. This is some fatherly game. You got to want for yourself. You got to want to do for yourself. You got to want to know for yourself. You got to stop wanting somebody to carry you. Y'all want somebody to carry you. I'm not carrying you. That's not my job. I was doing that for a little bit and it's starting to make me real miserable. Case in point, I had a conversation today. I want people to understand that I understand what it's like to be an outcast. But the thing about it is that a lot of you make us the way that we are. Y'all make us come this way. When the first time that we came to you, we came with spirit, truth, compassion, love, empathy, respect, all these other type stuff, and you kicked us. Oh, he ain't worth it. He ain't worth talking to. All right, you're right. You're right. I'm not worth talking to. I'm a nobody. Keep saying that all the time. I don't mind being that. But Mr. McNeely, and then speaking for himself, basically says, well, I'm trying to just figure out, I didn't say the question directly, but I implied it. You folks understand that being a politician, it's not just you get there and you sit up on the dais and you read some notes and somebody tells you to vote a certain way because this is what we're doing. What's happening in Upper Darby just shows that these people that are sitting up there have no care or concern about the goings on or how our township is run or how people feel because they are in their elitist mode. This man's an elitist. He is. He thinks he's better than anybody else. You'll hear it in his tone when you listen to the video. You'll hear it in his tone. You'll hear all of that. Well, I apologize. I don't know what else I can do for you. Or basically, if that's what you want. That's what he said to him. See, a backhanded apology shows no contrition for what he said. He stood on it. He stood on the fact that, hey, we don't want you, Army veteran. Now, I don't know Mr. Mike Law's voting status. And you know what? I would never ask him. I don't know about Mr. Mike Law's physical disabilities. And I wouldn't ask him. I wouldn't ask him. That's just proper etiquette. But when you've never been in a position of power before, like Mr. Myron McNeely, when you've never been in a position to understand people in front of you, like Myron McNeely, when you've never, and I mean never, interviewed someone on a professional level, you are not qualified, just like you're not qualified to be a constable. Yeah, that's the truth. So while you sitting here about to make rules and legislation and, you lean back in your chair, I've never seen a man pop so much. I'm dead serious. I'm going to say this as a man. I've never seen a man chew gum in meetings where you watch him chewing it like it's a cow. That's like, people want to talk about decorum. People always got to read off this decorum. But your public officials have none. They're typing on their phone. They're texting on their phones while you're talking to them. They're not paying you no mind. That 3 minutes where you're up there and you see them looking down, if all eyes aren't on you when you're speaking, that means that they ain't listening to a damn thing you're saying. I firmly believe that text phones any cell phone should not be in the hand of a public official during public comment. But I also want to tell you, Chester, that when you see that happening, that's a right to know request. Automatically. Because they're in performance of their duties, and that cell phone on that particular date, in that particular time, is part of the public record. Because if they're conducting business back and forth, you, Chester, a home rule charter city, have the right to request that. So I'm just going to use an example because I always say Mayor Roots, Mayor Roots, Mayor Roots. I'm going to use Fred Green this time. How you doing, Fred Green? If Fred Green is texting during a council meeting and you suspect that Mr. Green may be having conversations with another council person about somebody speaking, you can do a right to know to understand what the hell they're talking about while they're on their cell phones at the meeting, because that is permissible and legal. Why? We did it in Upper Darby. We already solved that. Don't let nobody tell you there's already a precedent for what I'm saying. It's been done. It's been done. See, Mr. Myron McNeely doesn't understand how government works. And you guys put somebody on council who has no idea about the Constitution, about Bill of Rights, about moral turpitude. And understanding himself when he's talking to an Army veteran. Let me go to interference with administration. Subsection 736 of the Upper Darby Administrative Code. Except for otherwise provided in this administrative code and for the purpose of inquiries and investigations, the Township Council or its members, that needs to be clarified who the members would be. I'm going to assume that the members would be their own human resource department members because they do have an HR. The Township Council or its members shall deal with employees in the administrative service solely through the mayor and or chief administrator, and neither the council or its members shall give orders to such employees either publicly or privately. There's a reason why in every home rule charter, city, township, municipality, there is a morality clause. There is a morality clause. There is a morality clause. You guys saw the news. We got half a $1,000,000 being given to somebody who was basically coming up here and sleeping with prostitutes right at your Candlewood Suites Hotel here in Chester. And that money was given by the trust of Delaware County Council, who says, oh, we don't have any oversight on that. Once we give the money, that's that. But it takes a whistleblower coming forward to the district attorney, and all of a sudden we see some motion, and all of a sudden there's an immediate arrest, and all of a sudden there's 25 charges for prostitution and all this other type stuff, kidnapping, sex trafficking, all this other type stuff. Y'all can't tell me ain't nobody seen that not going on. And all of a sudden now we supposed to, oh my God, what happened? And we have the poor women. This little false equivalency that we had to go to other people suffering needs to stop, black people. And you need to get yourself some real people who understand what government is and not what government should be in the hands of one party. Abraham Lincoln said, a house divided amongst itself will and shall not stand. And you guys keep driving the spike talking about you want change, you want change. You're not going to get change if all of the faces are the same and everybody's marching to the same beat. Everybody's saying yes. So it's all mommies on your council, no daddy. All mommies. Mommy said yes. Mommy said I could have a juice. Mommy said I could have some Cheetos, Flaming Hots. Mommy said yes. Ain't no daddies. Don't worry about it, Upper Darby Township. The mommies up here, we'll take care of you while we take care of ourselves. While we take care of ourselves. Because that's what's been happening in Upper Darby Township. I mean, and they say that it used to happen here in Chester, that it's not happening now. Okay? They say it's not happening now. But that's what's happening in Upper Darby Township now. We have money, we have a budget, we have resources, but services have been cut back so much in Upper Darby Township. You can't come to Upper Darby and say it's safe when you get off the bus and at 69th Street and the first thing you see are drug dealers. I'm going to keep talking about that. How in the heck does nobody that's come into Upper Darby Township that comes through 69th Street doesn't say anything about Upper Darby Police Superintendent Timothy Bernhardt not doing his job? When I say not doing it, because if drug dealers want to be blatantly outside with it, like if you doing your thing behind doors and everything like that, and you doing moves, this and the third, I understand that. That's one thing. You know, I don't have no respect for, and this ain't snitching. I have a disrespect to you telling on yourself. You telling on yourself. But we got a brand new movie theater coming back on 69th Street, and we need some business. The DTLR is the only sneaker store holding up the bottom of 69th Street. Everybody left. Thanks, Swiss. I'm dead serious. Come to 69th Street and then say, oh, you messing with the game. No, the game is now messing with us. The game don't have no respect for us. We respected the game. For years, when that thing was right there, trust me, I had a cop call me. Hey, Rich, what's up? I said, what's up? You know anything about what's going on 69th Street? I said, you see it. Why are you asking me? If you got to call me to ask me about something so obvious and blatant, I don't need to say anything. That phone call was 2 years ago. It's out of hand. Scale it back, Timothy Bernhardt, please. Scale it back so we can have women who get off the bus with their daughters coming from the daycare, that they're not accosted by the same drug-addicted people who are now scrambling around looking for cigarettes during rush hour. Our people don't deserve to have to be held up in traffic at a vital connection point to the West because we got to dodge people walking in the street with blankets on and nothing on their bottoms. Glad the homeless shelter is back open because y'all got your money now. Yay. So do something with it. Again, these are observations. I'm not critical of nothing. These are things that are happening. These are things that are going on right now as we speak. So I'm not speaking against something or anybody when we're paying all of these taxes. Upper Darby has raised has gotten their EIT. You're paying a 1.4% of your gross. And you're going to get a property tax increase along with the Delaware County Council giving you a property tax increase. After they gave you a 4% and then a 25%, now they're going to give you a 19%. And we haven't even talked about the school district coming for theirs. School district is going to vote and make sure that they get their 1%. So guess what, Chester? 52% of your paycheck yearly will go to taxes. You mad at me now? Black people be even madder. There's black people up there that's the ones that's running the boat. They're the captains of the ship. It's their ship now. Okay? Don't be mad at me because I'm telling you truths. Don't be mad at me because I'm talking about people you don't like. Don't be mad at me because I'm saying things that you ain't supposed to be talking like that. Man, get the hell out of here. That's the problem. Because y'all don't understand how a black man speaks because you are afraid of the tone and the inflection, because you are afraid of the articulation. There's no script here. There's no script in front of me. I don't have to read a script. Public speaking comes from my mother. But you're not teaching kids that. You're not teaching kids to put their chin up out of their chest and assert themselves inside of their community, assert themselves with their government, assert themselves with knowledge, because you're afraid or you don't know. I was having a conversation the other day. There's two things that people are in general. There's people who can't and people who won't. A can't is either lack of information, lack of resources, they've never been taught something, they've never been anywhere, they haven't been educated about a process. That's a can't, when someone hasn't been taught something. A won't is where you have knowledge. A won't is where you have experience. A won't is where you see where the resources can go to help other people. But because of your own personal, emotional response to life, you won't do something. Life is can'ts and won'ts. Either you can't do it and need to learn how to do it, or you won't do it and you need to get out of the way. Because we got a lot of people who won't do something. We don't have people who can't do anything. Those who can't, we're supposed to teach. Those who can't and want to learn, we're supposed to gravitate to them and pull them closer. But y'all got all of these don't want people, these don't hire people, these all about me people. Which leads me into Galatians. Hold on. I got to read something else. Because this goes to moral turpitude. Why do I talk about the morality as a public official? Because you have a lot of public officials up there acting like pimps. You got a lot of public officials up there thinking that they can flash and dash you and show that watch and jingle the keys. Hey, Cuddy. That's how they treat y'all. Like Cuddy. That's how they treat you. Let me give you this other part of the scripture. Galatians 5:19-21. Galatians 5:19-21. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. When I read that word, I immediately went to a dictionary just to look up that word when I was a kid, just so I could say that word and call somebody that word. I kid you not. When I read the Bible and they gave me a broadband of words that I went and looked up and understood, lasciviousness. It just sounds like how you could just put that term on somebody and the skin just peels back. Like, oh, you hurting me. But no, hold on. Lasciviousness. Idolatry. I want to talk about idolatry real quick. If you're praising a man or a woman, that's idolatry. If I understand sneakers, but if you're a sneakerhead, that's your God. It is. You spend more time cataloging and running your shoe game up. Listen, I ain't hating. That's on you. Listen, I don't care. I'm going to look weird. I'm going to rock with these New Balances for the rest of my life. But yeah, that's your God. Idolatry isn't you sitting down and worshiping a graven image, if you know what that means. It means worshiping something other than. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Witchcraft. Ooh. Witchcraft. Yes. Didn't I tell you guys about spelling? How words can be used? Incantations? Chants? Are you really, really that dumb? This is how I know that people don't read the Bible. I'm dead serious. I challenge you. This is how I know people don't read the Bible. Because the Bible tells you of what's coming in the end of days. It tells you. Witchcraft. Hatred. Didn't I say, and I said this, I said they got y'all in hatred. I keep telling you. It's right here in Galatians 5:19 and 20. You are bound by these words. But be ye led by the Spirit. We are not under the law. That's over in verse 18. Envyings. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me go back to 20. Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, strife, wrath, seditions. Oh, that word's been up. That word's been up all week, all weekend. Seditions. And what's the last one? Heresies. Envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of which I tell you before, as I also told you in time past, they which do these things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Shall not. Not maybe, not could be, not, oh, God, I did that once, let me slide on in it. And black people, y'all elect this to your councils. If you go look at the personalities of some of your council members and how they act and how they talk to you, and go back to your word, me specifically, my word, the Bible. I know everybody has their own text, but I guarantee you it's in there somewhere. But let me read this again. And I'm going to start from... I'm going to go back to 13. I'm going to read it all the way back up to 22. Galatians 13 through 22. For, brethren, you have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another. For all the laws fulfilled in one word, even this, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. But if ye bite and devour one another, take heed that ye be not consumed one of another. That means if somebody's biting at your back, you ain't got to stay there for that attack. That means that you don't have to, oh, this is my daughter, this is my cousin, this is my no. The word of God rings true on what you should do. This I say then, walk in the spirit, and ye shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusteth against the spirit, and the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other. So you cannot do things that you would. It's telling you not to compromise yourself with others for agendas. That's the problem with the failure of the democratic process, is that they want you to shed who you are and put this cloak on. Republicans too. Oh, Republicans too. I've had my share of conversations with, Rich Blye, you'd be, nope. I turn it down immediately. Have had people tell them, first of all, I got a felony, so I can't run. But, even if I could, I wouldn't. Rich, well, why wouldn't you run? Because I'm not used to lying to people for a living. I'm not going to be able to know what I know inside of these back rooms and stuff like that, and then come out of a room and lie to you. I'm not that type of man. Like I said, my integrity, that's all I got. I'm not rich, it's just my name. I got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, yes. I have a convenience for travel, but I don't own it. I don't. It's not mine. I have to pay for the convenience in order to travel. I have no ownership. And neither do you, black children. And that's what you got to avoid, black children, of falling into these gaps that we ourselves at my age, like I said, I'm 58. We fell into these traps and we stayed there. And now we're calling you, oh, come down here. There's a party down here. How you got 40 and 50-year-old people out partying with 20 and 30-year-old people? These people, if you're 40 years old and you in the club and everybody is 10 to 20 years younger than you, you need to take your drunken self home. Or be partying with people. This is the time you're supposed to graduate to the old head line dancing. Age ain't nothing but a number. Oh, no. The young people are judging you, especially with how you look. They're listening to what you're saying, and you don't have the same value. I know. I have a son that's a bouncer. And we have these conversations. Yo, Dad, what? Man, people your age look horrible. They don't look like you. I said, I don't have a rough life. I'm not in these places. I see what it's done to people in generations before I came to. Why would I want to be stupid and say, when I watch their demise, that it ain't going to happen to me? That's just dumb. And that's all I'm warning people. I'm not telling you not to have a good time. I'm saying there's a time and place for everything. There's a time where you got to grow up. It's a time where you can't be in the bar when you come after work and you're 50 years old. The bar should not be the first stop after you get off work. It shouldn't. But we see a lot of brothers in there during happy hour. Wasn't today a parent-teachers conference? Oh, yeah, all around Delco. Because parents-teacher conferences always come before Thanksgiving. This is how you know if you're going to buy your kids something for Christmas. I got a kid that is doing well. One of my little mentees is doing very, very well. Had a little rough edges at the beginning only because, it's, different environment, stuff like that, but adjusted right to the task. Shout out to her mom and her dad, and I thank them for allowing me to be this child's mentor. Because mom and dad is handling it. It's easy. But I also know the direction that they want their child to go. And they ask for my help in these situations to make sure that this child in particular gets to where they need to go. And I can help with that free of charge, by the way. I ain't taxing nobody. It feels good to help somebody. It really does feel good to help somebody. It really does, especially the innocence of a child. A lot of you don't know that. A lot of you, with all of this hatred that's filling your heart, you just need to go somewhere and find a veteran, find a senior, sit down with them, get to learn them, talk about them, be happy. But if you're led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanliness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, immolations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness, revelings, and such like, of which I tell you before, as I have told you in time past, that they which do things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against there is no law. Those who wish to be bound by the law are bound by hatred, idolatry, fornication, uncleanness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, wrath, strife, seditions. Let's get to seditions. What is the definition of sedition? Sedition, conduct or speech. Ooh, there's that word again. Speech. I'm going to keep talking about this witchcraft part and how spelling, when people are talking to you, are actually casting spells to get past your personality profile and to get you to be manipulated by their spell and have you enthralled by their words. They're very good at it. Sedition, conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against the authority of a state or monarch in a forceful attempt to revolt or use violence by overthrowing a government or an authority. Sedition is a felony. Oh, they just said it. No. You implied. Here's that word again. Implied. To our armed forces, to our young men and women, that if they get an order underneath their oath, that they have the right to disobey it. See, this is the problem for those who take an oath as public officials. You've never seen combat. You've never stood a post. You've never had a weapon in your hand. You've never had to save a life. These men and women are brothers and sisters. They depend upon each other. They can't have any indecision in the field whatsoever. There can't be any negative decisiveness when they have to execute and perform their duties. I get it. Everybody hates this sitting president. I get it. Okay. But you're not helping matters. And for those 6 public officials, it's called sedition. You implied a thought, conduct. Your thought process is conduct. You knowingly and willingly use your words to cast a spell to enthrall people to be indecisive with their oath, duty honoring position. These young men and women, when they take this oath, they take it seriously. It means the world to them. And I know that we see some other men and women who have served in the armed forces, and they're taking up stances, against this sitting president. And yes, they are assisting with, letting people know when ICE is in their town. I saw one guy's like, yeah, I served. Da, 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 da. Thank you for your service, sir. And he has the right to do that. Am I mad about it? Nope. No. Because he's not breaking the law. He has a different train of thought. He's doing what he feels as though is honorable in his own eyes. He's not hurting anybody. He's not putting anybody down. So I don't hate it. I may not like it because I really believe, my own opinion, that some of these illegals got to go. I don't care. I didn't say immigrants. I said illegals. I keep trying to tell people, don't mix words on me. Don't try to change it up on me. What I thought, what I say is what I say. What did you mean? What did I say? I said some of these illegals need to go. Not immigrants, illegals. There's a difference. So don't go back to your little show. He talked about the immigrants, y'all. No, the hell I didn't. Why would I do that? That's dumb. I know the difference between the definitions. That's stupid. You don't speak for me. Hey, folks, let me put this out there very plainly. If somebody speaks for me, call them a liar right to their face. Because I don't speak for no man or no woman. If you want to talk to my sisters, if you want to talk to my brother, if you want to talk to somebody, blah, 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 you better call them. You better not call me. Something you want to know that has nothing to do with me, you think that I got juice and pull with the people that, talk to me. I'm gonna say this to my man Bryce. I don't fetch pails of water for nobody. Nobody. You got something you want to say to my man? Radio station is here. Open mics all night. What's up? What's good? Because CMP Radio is your number one source for a debate platform, an information platform, exchange of ideas. CMP Radio is here for it all. For it all. As it has been for the past 7-8 years. I mean, I went back and looked at the podcast I was on 5 years ago. I was like, man, first of all, I picked up weight. Yeah, I picked up weight, baby. It's good weight, though. But my position was still clear and the same. I didn't deviate from what I meant and what I say. I think that's what people need to understand about me. I'm not here to butter your biscuit or put powder on your butt and pamper you. It's not my job. My job is to speak truthfully. My job is to bring situations to light. My job is to have a connection with you, with these streets, Chester, Upper Darby, Haverford Township, and all points in between, Philly. That's my job. My job is to interconnect with sources and bring you stuff that you need to know that you keep asking for. So you have to understand that, and I'm going to give it to you real quick. I'm going to give you something that I believe that you guys have probably never seen or heard before. I'm just going to try to make sure that I got this right. I need to look this up real quick. Give me one hot second. Sorry. Usually I'm really ready and prepared. I got something already queued up, but I was already into a different room. Okay. All right, here we go. So, black people, state of Black Pennsylvania had a meeting this past last week, Thursday. State of Black Pennsylvania meeting was hosted by Mr. Stefan Roots, Mayor Stefan Roots. And in the room, like I said, folks, was everyone connected to the voting process of Chester. Everyone in that room, it was about 5 or 6 mayors in the room over on Booth Road at the ACT Center. And there were about 30 to 35 black mayors on a Zoom. And that's all you're going to get. That's all you're going to get from me. You had your shot. You had your opportunity. Y'all blew it. Am I disappointed? Absolutely. I'm absolutely disappointed. See, I'm a cover cmpradio.net. When we have to do stuff, I'm a cover these stories. I'm going to be in these rooms. And I'm going to come on this radio station on my segment time, and I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to throw up a couple grapefruits for everybody, and, you can go ahead and put it to your segments and talk about it how you want to talk about it. I don't care. It's good that you're talking about it. But what I'm not going to do is allow anybody anymore to come up to me and tell me about, how I think and what I think and which way I go, blah, 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 when I don't see you in the rooms. You don't have the knowledge to tell me to think differently. You don't have it. And no disrespect. Y'all got to stop coming to black men like you own a black woman, just because that black man don't agree with you. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. I'm going to give y'all one more thing. I'm going to put this out here. Will Taylor, this is for you, brother. Y'all can forget about Kamala Harris being president. You heard it from me. Listen, I'm a stand on that. I ain't going to tell you how I know, but I'm going to stamp it and stand on it. Y'all can let Kamala Harris go. You hear me? Y'all gonna have different candidate, maybe Jasmine Crockett, maybe AOC, you know what I mean, AOS or whatever her name is, I don't know. I'm tired of acronyms. That's why I don't say my acronym all the time. I just spell it out, the JACE. I'm tired of acronyms, I really am. There's a lot of stuff I'm tired of. Today's a mental health day. It really is. I'm tired. Not even kidding. Not even kidding, because you got to get all this information. You got to come on to the show. You got to prepare it for the show. You got to pump yourself up. You got to drive through traffic. You got to come in. I'm not complaining. I do this for the love of it, and I do this for my brother. And I do this for the people that are watching. But y'all really don't understand what it goes into producing a show. You guys don't understand what it takes in order to sit down and make sure that this radio station runs. And some of y'all really think that we're up there just spitting and grinning, cheesing for the camera. It's not like that. It's speaking from the heart, and it's speaking about matters that are from your hearts and trying to connect with you and say, what's the real deal, guys? What's going on in your town? How can we serve you? How can this radio station serve you? How can we be about community for you? Y'all got to tell us. Y'all can't expect us to go out here and do field investigative work and then come back and tell you the news only for you to spit it back in our face and say, I don't believe you, when we got it straight from the sources, the people that you elected. How are you going to get mad at me when the people that you elected did all of the talking? And like I said, I'm not going to tell you what they said. I'm not going to tell you what my mayor said. I'm not going to tell you what your mayor said. If they want to share that information, they did. Listen, it was on a Zoom. They did a video of it. If they want to put that information out to you, now they're not legally obligated to do this. Okay? They're not legally obligated, so don't do a right to know on that, because you're going to get laughed at. And they said they're going to have some other meetings that's going to be up to the public. Some are, some aren't, while they do their thing. Some will be local, some won't be local. Because like I said, it was about 30 to 35 mayors on a Zoom. So that's all across the state of Pennsylvania. So you're not unique, Chester, Upper Darby, Brookhaven, Alden, Sharon Hill. You're not unique. Everybody's coming together for one agenda. And you're not part of the plan because you're not in the room. You're not asking questions. You're not gathering information. You are unprepared. Anybody see the latest figures that came out on for your kids in school? No? Nobody saw the latest figures from your high school? No? You want me to tell you where to look? Oh, of course you do. Hold on. Let me get it for you. Hold on. Let me help. I know. It sounds so condescending right now, but let me tell you something. I'm so pissed. School performance, Future Ready PA. Got that? FutureReadyPA.org. Performance. When you go in there, it will show you the latest up-to-date numbers for all you taxpayers in your district where you are spending money that helps provide for the education and the infrastructure of education for your children and others, even if you don't have any or you're a retiree. So now you can go to your school board meetings and say, hold on a second. I'm paying this amount of money in taxes and Johnny can't read. I'm paying this much in taxes and I see that the building isn't up to par. I don't have no bleachers. I don't have a new flagpole. Nobody ain't buying no paint. Because the correlation between clean, open space in schools that reflect the attitude of the children and our youth lead to good performances of children and youth because it's not drab, ugly, boring. Our schools need not to look like prisons. We understand that you're doing it, but at least color it back up. I said it, yeah. We know what you're doing. Because if you look at the proficiency of your children overall, I'm not saying you're one and my child doing all right. Good for you. You're doing your job. My kids doing all right too. Good for them. Listen, do your job. I don't praise my kids. I do not praise my kids for the job of parenting. No, I don't. That's stupid. I would never praise my child in the job of parenting. I ain't letting you get a big head for something that you took on the responsibility of, that child ain't has to be here. You got to do your job. Ain't nobody pat me on the back for being an amazing dad. I got the amazing dad tag after my kids were grown. Until then, you ain't that shit N-word. Truth bombs. Speaking of truth, how many of you black people, since we're talking about the state of black, Pennsylvania being pro-Democrat, how many of you black people can name over 50 inventions off the top of your head that has been done by black Americans in America? Black people. So I sat down and I just started tapping and I said, you know what? Let me do a little test of myself. Since I've been talking about Juneteenth and I've been talking about, being black and what it takes and understanding history and everything like that, let me give myself a test. And this is what I came up with. I came up with the GPS. I came up with denim blue jeans. I came up with the multi-stage rocket, the programmable remote control, the space shuttle retrieval arm, the system for guided missiles, pacemaker controls, automobile air brakes, the roller coaster, the electric cutoff switch relay system, the fire escape ladder, the stair climbing wheelchair, the hydraulic shock absorber. I love cars and stuff like that. So as you can hear, I'm naming a lot of machinery first. Excuse me. The bottle cap, clothes dresser, the starter generator, the Mammoth Cave discovery, and the guide from the Mammoth Cave, who basically mapped out this entire cave system that people go down to Tennessee, in central Tennessee, and love. The two-cycle gas engine, internal combustion, truck refrigeration. Every time you see Thermo King on a truck, that is a black man. It's not the name of the truck. It's the name of the mechanism that keeps the truck refrigerated. Thermo King. Egg beater, bicycle frame. Jack Johnson and the monkey wrench, the first black heavyweight champion of the world, also invented the monkey wrench. Let's go with photo print wash. So for those who've ever been into photography, the photo wash is an essential part of the chemistry process for developing pictures and negatives and pictures. And somebody black said, oh, you need this type of chemical. A version of the guitar, the postal letterbox where you put your mail in, and also the post box where you receive your mail at home. The super soaker, the folding chair, the table hand stamp, you know that hand stamp, they say, next, next, next. That's black people. The insect destroyer gun. That insect destroyer gun, that little air gun to destroy the what's those little moth-eating fleas? Oh yeah. Photo embossing machine. The doorknob. Photo print wash. The record player arm. Remember when you play the records and you put it on the automatic setting and the jaw goes slide over real quick and it drops down on it. Crackle, crackle, crackle. So you kids don't understand crackle, crackle, crackle on a record. Y'all don't understand that. This is why this is the difference between our generation. It was an expectation of what music is coming on. It was an excitement for it. Now y'all don't have none of that. That's why your lives are miserable. I'm dead serious. Y'all don't have an expectation of something good. We had that. That's what's in our generation when we went out. It was an expectation. I give you something, young people. Go to your grandfathers, your grandmothers. Say, listen, I want to have a little old school party where we actually play your records on that record player. Then I say, oh, why you got that old record player, grandma? Why don't you go to grandma and your grandfather who have the records and ask them to sit down, and you sit your hind parts down and you listen to one of those jazz albums that Pop got. You want to know some black history? Go sit down with your grandparents. Go sit down. Not take him out to eat. Pop, you ain't got to eat this round either. Sit your grandchildren down and you teach them. Somebody told me, oh, my kid don't like to do stuff. Let me explain something to you gently as parents, especially you fathers. If your child is dictating your house by telling you that they don't want to go somewhere or be somewhere, if you don't grab them by their neck and put the seatbelt on them double and drive to that event, and before you get out the car, let them know that if you don't smile and answer questions, I'm going to kick you so far up your butt, your mouth is going to be tasting the bottom of my soul.
No, you can't do that. That's not gentle parenting.
Who, what? That's why I said fathers. I ain't say mothers. Fathers, you have the right to corporally discipline your children. Fathers, under the Constitution of Pennsylvania. Fathers, not you mothers. This is why you mothers get in trouble. I had this, baby. I got that. No, you don't. You don't. Your child could literally call the police on you, and you could go to jail. Mothers. Now, the cops don't enforce it because, they know that you're the only one there and the kid probably messing up or whatever. But I guarantee you, legally, if that kid say, I want to press charges and there's bruises or whatever, yeah, they're going to take you because there's bruises and everything like that. But you're going to get hit with that endangerment because guess what? Legally in the state of Pennsylvania, Mom, you don't have no rights to your child. This is why you have to go down and get him to sign away his rights. This is why you got to go down to court and get him to sign up for child support. This is why you got to get him to sign his life over to the state because the fathers have the rights. Fathers, y'all sitting here crying too. I'm sitting up here talking about child support, custody, and all those other matters, and I get ragged out, but I'm a person that survived Philly and Delaware County. I have no open cases in either county. Whatever I owed, that debt has been paid. Done. I'm free from that slave environment. Don't put yourselves there, brothers. Abstinence works. If not, put on a condom. Young men, it's not your responsibility to bring babies onto this planet without a solid plan or you enjoying your life to the fullest, young men. Ain't nothing against the woman. Because on the woman's side, they telling the women how to be, and from the women's side, I don't deal in such matters. I'm not a woman. I don't have conversations with women about women's stuff. That's not my bag. I have conversations of interest from a male perspective because that's who I am, a male. I understand me. I understand other men. I understand how women are. I understand how women can be, but you're not my woman, so I don't want to talk to you unless it's cordial and friendly. Other than that, I don't wish to debate no woman. I don't have an opinion of no woman. I don't want to hear no rhetoric about what a woman thinks she is to a man. That ain't none of my business. That's your opinion. Just like it's my opinion what a man is to a woman is my opinion. And just like you express it freely, I'm expressing mine. Now, did I harm anybody in saying that? I didn't harm anybody in saying that. Are your feelings hurt? I hope your feelings are not hurt, because I'm going to say it again. And I'm going to keep saying it. We got to get ourselves together. Hold on, let's talk about some other stuff. The typewriter. The folding bed, the biscuit cutter, the train car coupler. So when you look at the train and you see that coupling, that little coupling that comes in and it couples together, yeah, we did that. Black people. Letterbox, stainless steel brake pads, torpedo discharger, disposable syringe, home security camera networks, TCCTV, corn planter, cotton planter, ironing board, street sweeper machine, the horse bridle bit, the horseshoe, the lawnmower, the ironing board, the train alarm, the dead man's throttle, the third rail, the image converter to detect radiation, MRI, peanut butter, patents for paint stain removal, the super soaker, an automatic fishing reel, ice cream mold, the seal of an envelope, that plastic seal that goes across the envelope that some people lick or stick, yeah. A version of a printing press, laser fuels, the pressure cooker, pencil sharpener, the fire extinguisher, a version of locks, the shoe lasting machine. For all you sneakerheads, it's a machine where they take the material and they put it over a fake foot, and the machine comes down when it's not made in a Chinese sweatshop and actually made legitimate for legitimate purposes. This machine comes down and basically puts your shoe together. Ian Metzlager. A-I-N Metzlager. Go look him up. The cell phone, the clothes dryer, sugar refinement, the baby buggy, you know, we call it strollers now, but the baby buggy, the one that came up, looks like a Volkswagen with the big arms and the big wheels, automatic gear shift, lawn sprinkler, hot pressing comb, urinalysis machine, the fountain pen, the hairbrush, the heating furnace system, rocket catapult, gas mask, the elevator. That's over 50 things, folks. That's off the top of my head. So like I said, I'm not judging you, but there are some things that we need to start doing correctly and understanding the places that we in. So to recap real quick, stop thinking that your public officials love you and they have your best interests at heart, especially down in Upper Darby Township. Yes, Chester, you do need to vet your black Democrats that are running. They do need to have your value. We know they black. We know they're educated. We know all their personal profile. Do they share your morals? Because we don't have that in Upper Darby. When you look at that video, this man's morals were on display. He had an opportunity to be professional, and he chose not to. And people are mad at me saying, oh, you putting a Democrat in the spotlight. Yeah, I'm putting a Democrat in the spotlight because ain't no Republican to put in the spotlight. I can't blame it on nobody else. What do you want me to do? An unknown person of an unknown political event, diss the man who's not supposed to be talking about his political affiliation, news at 11. Y'all got to understand something. It's been my position and my job for 7 years in Delaware County to be honest and bring you guys the news and to tell you before I even came up to this radio station. There are things that I had decided to do and be, you know, for the betterment of my community, not just, you know, locally where I live in Upper Darby, but also here in Chester. And it's sometimes these times that, yes, you know, we have good times and happy feelings about what our content is. And sometimes black folks, we need to come back and snap some heads and some necks back into reality before you get too comfortable now that them stamps came back on. Because a lot of y'all getting comfortable without knowing that they may shut down this government again in January. You're too comfortable when you're about to be taxed by this county, another 19%. That's if you're let me say this gently. If your grandparents are living on a fixed income and they have in their possession a house that has been in your family since they've been here in Chester, do you not understand that they will come and take it? They doing that right now to a 91-year-old woman in Swarthmore. They taking her house over $1,200, $1,500. You think they won't come to Chester and do the same thing to you? You think they won't do this to your family? You think it won't happen to you? I'm telling you, they going to, listen, never mind, I forgot. I said I ain't telling y'all nothing. I meant that. I ain't telling y'all nothing. I'm not gonna let the cat out of the bag, guys. If you're watching this program later, or when you watch the program, there's nothing exciting here for you guys. Y'all know what I'm talking about. State of Black Pennsylvania attendees. I promise you, I prayed on this. I really did. I said, Lord, do I keep my mouth shut or do I talk about it? And all I heard was hold your peace. Yes, I was there, but you get nothing. You don't get the plan. unless they want to tell you. And the way that they're going to tell you, it's not going to be to your understanding. It's going to be to their understanding. Because now they're going to have a chance to refine what they initially put out. Now they're going to have a chance to filter through and redefine some things according to who was there and according to the type of response. Because I did get an opportunity to speak myself. And I will say this. The first people that I advocated for was Chester. I'm not from here, y'all. But I will say this. I said to your ward leaders and your committee people and in front of your mayor, there's a disconnect between the children who went through COVID and have emerged through COVID with no love for their city, their alma mater, or anything Chester, and that's why they want to leave it. I said, all you old people in here, I didn't call them old, but all you people in here have a responsibility and an obligation to reach back to those children. Teach them government, not party. I said it just like that. Teach them government so that they understand. But you guys, young people, at the sound of my voice that'll hear this, you blew it. You blew your opportunity to come and learn. You blew it. You blew it. It was a setup for you. It was barely 2 hours. It was from 7 to 9, just like this show. 7 to 9. Young people, you want to know about your government? Don't wait for your mommy, daddy to tell you. Young people, City of Chester, chester.org. Anything you want to learn about your government is on the .org, upperdarby.org, brookhaven.org, alden.org. All government. You don't need somebody to teach you. Go read it for yourself. You have an answer about a government question, then you go look it up yourself. Stop calling for help. You look like a victim. Stop teaching our children to be victims. Stop teaching them that. Teach them to gird themselves up with strength and find the answers for themselves so they can have it for themselves and move to stronger positions instead of always having to have their hand out to an older generation of people that ain't teaching them nothing. We have to give our children a fighting chance, folks. And it's not through dictatorship. It's not through sedition. It's not through being separate. It's not through, this whole thing that of what your politicians want. Our community thrives on love. Our community thrives on support. Our community thrives on compassion. Our community has always been locked together because we are Chester. I don't live here, but I'm Chester too. I shop in Chester. I drive through Chester. I associate with people in Chester. I associate more people in this black city than I do in my black city of Upper Darby Township. I promise you that. I promise you. Why? Because it feels good to be in an all-black city. It really does. I'm not in an all-black city. So it feels good to be around all-black folks because I can feel that energy. It feels good. But my heart aches. Because I see a lot of people trying to lead y'all down paths. I see a lot of people lying to you. I just want to say this. You can take what they say to you, but also take what I'm saying to you. Then when you put it together, go weigh it. I've been doing this for 7 years. Have I been arrested yet, P? Have I been taken to court? But I talk a lot of shit, don't I? All right. All right. My enemies watch me. You know, my boy like to watch me. I told him I was going to give him a shout out. What's up, Vince Ragione? Director, superintendent of Wills or whatever the hell your title is. Hey, Raj, do me a favor. When you come onto my page, like my stuff. Don't come creep a picture of my old team, of my grown-up folks from back in the days of BH. Okay? Don't come creeping for my family like that. First of all, a lot of them already out of town, so you can't touch them. And number two, I guarantee you this. You think I'm bad. They the wrong people to play with, just so you know. But, for a public official to come in, you're not one of my friends. Well, you haven't accepted my request, because I'll put you on it. You're not one of my friends. I don't like you. I think you're a creep. I think you're a coward. And you know why. Vince Ragione, you laughed in my face when I was getting Juneteenth started. You laughed at that day of healing in Upper Darby Township. But guess what, Vince Ragione? I told you that the Lord said that you will not sit in that seat for long, and you were fired as CAO of Upper Darby Township. Tell the world why. Tell them why you were fired. Right. So, Vince, before you come on my page, remember, I have freedom of speech. I'm not a public official. I have the right to speak the way that I want to speak. And you do have some rights as a, private citizen or whatever, but in this capacity, I don't see you as a private citizen. I see you as a person who continues to try to antagonize me. I see you as a person that tries to get underneath my skin. So what I did was I sent you a friend request so you don't get underneath my skin. Since you're watching anyway, you might as well come on and make some comments about how you feel. It's an open forum, bro. Trust me. I won't. Listen, let me tell you something about you, Vince Ragione. I would never go to the cops and snitch about anything that you would say to me. I want to really have a free and open conversation with you, fam. I want to have a man conversation with you, bro. You understand what I mean? I really want to have a man conversation with you. I want to have a conversation where we do something for charity and have this man conversation. I want to get a crowd together so we can have this man conversation. I want a man conversation with you, bro. I want you to understand what that means. We can raise a lot of money. We know the Democratic Party needs it. The Republican Party needs it. These nonprofits need it. This would be the man conversation of the century, especially in Delco. Let's have a man conversation, Vince, because I know you like me. And I don't know why, because I'm not gay. See you on the flip side.